Right. In last class related to variable mass system, we have discussed the general concept. Whenever the mass is also variable, in such case, force acts on the body is equal to d by dt of momentum. That means rate of change in momentum. That is equal to dp by dt, which is equal to d by dt of mv. Then we got m into dv bar by dt plus v into dm by dt, v bar into dm by dt. We got that equation. Next, in case of rocket, we observed what is the thrust acts on the rocket, what is the acceleration of the rocket, then what is the velocity of the rocket at any time t. In that way, we derive the different formulas. Suppose if you are given the rocket starts from rest, then in that formula, we got formula v is equal to u minus zt plus vr into dm by dt. We got. Suppose at t is equal to 0, if initial velocity is 0, just you write u is equal to 0 only. And if gravity is ignored, acceleration due to gravity is ignored means you put g, small g is also equal to 0. Then velocity of the rocket at any instant of time you will get. Okay. That is equal to vr into dm by vr into ln m naught by m. You will get no. We got velocity of the rocket at any instant of time t is v is equal to u minus zt plus vr into ln m naught by m. We got m naught is the initial mass of the rocket. M is the mass of the rocket at such instant of time t, at which velocity of the rocket is to be determined. So at the time t, small m is the mass of the rocket with the remaining fuel at the time t. What is the maximum speed or burnt out speed means at the time in the denominator in ln m naught by m, instead of m you had substituted the mass of the rocket alone, because the rocket acquires the maximum velocity whenever the fuel is totally exhausted or fuel is totally consumed. Okay. Are you able to hear my voice or not, all of you? Please respond immediately. Okay, Ravindra, you check your system. Ravindra. Okay, right. Now, third one, you see, a car of mass starts moving. A car of mass, there is a car. A car of mass. Suppose all of you see the board. All of you see the board. Here it is a car of certain mass. It is a car of certain mass. Okay. Here a car of certain mass starts moving towards right due to constant horizontal force. So this car is actually, whenever the engine is started, the engine rotates the wheels. Whenever the wheel try to rotate like this, then at the point of contact of the wheel with the floor or with the road, the point of contact to try to displace towards left on the road. At the same time, between the point of contact and road, because of friction, that friction opposes the motion of the point of contact in backward direction. That's why friction acts on the wheel towards right. So because of that friction, the vehicles move in forward direction. Actually, engine directly cannot push the vehicle in forward direction. Engine rotates the wheel. So that the bottom of the tire of the wheel pushes the road in backward direction. At the same time, the friction exerted by the road on the wheel is in forward direction. Due to that friction exerted by the road on the wheel of the vehicle travel in forward direction, not directly due to engine. Engine cannot push the vehicle directly. The road pushes the vehicle in forward direction. Due to that, it moves. Suppose perfectly frictionless road is there. Even you start the engine and even you accelerate them, then tires will rotate, but the vehicle cannot move. So because of friction due to road only, the vehicle travel in forward direction. Okay. Right. Here there is a car of mass m starts moving with a constant horizontal force F. At the same time, sand starts falling into the car from a stationary hopper. Here there is a hopper. It is the hopper. Hopper means it is the reservoir, just like reservoir type, or it is a just like a box in which sand is there. So whenever the bottom is open, then the sand falling downwards. In such a way, arrangement is there. That is called a hopper. Okay, from the stationary hopper is not moving, it is fixed. From the stationary hopper, the sand is falling into the vehicle. Sand is falling into the vehicle so that it is filled with sand slowly. As long as the sand falling into the vehicle, the mass of the vehicle increases, no? The rate at which the sand comes out from the hopper is say dm by dt. At the same rate, the mass of the car increases, no? At what rate sand falling into the car from the hopper, at the same rate, at the same mass rate, the mass of the car increases. The mass of the car increases. Okay. Here, now in this case, as the mass increases, because of this mass of the sand falling at this rate, the mass of the car increases. Whenever the mass of the car increases, the thrust due to this sand fall into the car opposes the motion of the car in backward direction. As the car is moving in forward direction, whenever the mass increases, thrust acts on the vehicle. That is in backward direction. Thrust is in backward direction. F thrust. Thrust is in backward direction. Suppose if mass decreases, then thrust supports the motion of the vehicle. If mass increases, thrust opposes the motion of the vehicle. That is important. Suppose in the formula, thrust is equal to VR into dm by dt. No, if dm by dt value decreases, that means if mass decreases, in such case, thrust supports the motion of the vehicle. If dm by dt is positive, that opposes the motion of the vehicle. Okay, here, because of sand filling in the car, thrust is developed and mass increases. That's why thrust acts on the vehicle opposite to their motion. Okay, here the rate of loading is constant and is equal to mu kilogram per second. That means this rate of mass falling into the car, that is equal to mu given, that mu kilogram per second is given. So rate of falling mass or the rate of mass comes out from the hopper and fall into the car is equal to dm by dt. That is given as mu. Okay, now the velocity of the car and the acceleration of the car as a function of time and thrust force acts on the car due to sand R. We have to derive the formulas for them. So first we have to derive the formula for velocity of the car. So first one, velocity of the car at any instant of time t. After t seconds after sand is falling into the car, what is the velocity of the car? So velocity of the car at any time, v is equal to question mark. So we have to derive this one. Here the relative velocity of the sand with respect to hopper with which it comes down. The relative velocity of this here the relative velocity of the sand with which the sand fall into the car, that is equal to, because the car is travel along horizontal direction, Suppose at certain instant of time t, suppose velocity of the car is say v, velocity is equal to v at any time t. So along horizontal, the relative velocity of the sand with respect to this car is velocity of sand with respect to car. That is the relative velocity. Relative velocity of the sand with respect to car is equal to velocity of the sand minus velocity of the car. It is the general formula. So along horizontal, we have to apply this principle. Whenever the sand falling like this, before it falling into the car, this sand may be velocity in vertically downwards direction, but it has no velocity along horizontal direction. No? That's why velocity of the sand along horizontal direction is 0. Therefore, relative velocity of the sand with respect to car is equal to velocity of the sand along horizontal direction 0 minus velocity of the car at any instant of time t is say v, that is equal to v. Therefore, relative velocity of the sand with respect to car along horizontal direction is equal to minus v. That is the relative velocity. So when you know the relative velocity, then what about the thrust? So because of this relative velocity, thrust acts on the car in backward direction and force acts on the car in forward direction. Okay, therefore, what is the resultant force acts on the car? Resultant force acts on the car is equal to F minus, resultant force acts on the car is equal to F minus thrust, F minus F thrust. That is equal to mass of the car into acceleration. That is equal to mass of the car into acceleration. At any instant of time t, if the mass of the car is say m, then m into a. So from this we have to write ma is equal to f minus v relative into dm by dt. F minus F thrust means v relative into dm by dt. No, you substitute v relative value. That is equal to v relative means so therefore F is equal to F minus v relative means the magnitude of v relative is v into dm by dt is given as mu. That is equal to m into a, or a is equal to F minus mu v by m. We can write now F minus mu v by m, or here this is equal to acceleration a is equal to dv by dt. We can write now acceleration a is equal to dv by dt. Suppose here, what about the mass m? Of course, here a is equal to f by m. You will get like this now. What is the mass of the car at any time t? Where m is equal to, suppose m naught is the mass of the car without sand. M naught is the mass of the car without sand. In t seconds, what is the mass of the sand fall into the car? In t seconds, what is the mass of the sand fall into the car? The rate of mass fall into the car is equal to dm by dt. For every second, this amount of mass fall into the car. In a time t seconds, what is the mass of the sand fall? That means dm by dt into t. So this is equal to m naught plus dm by dt is given as mu into t. This is the mass of the car at any time t. Mass of the car at any time t. Therefore, acceleration a is equal to f minus mu into v by m means m naught plus mu into t, where m naught is the mass of the car alone. That is important. Mass of car alone. Okay, therefore, acceleration a can be written as dv by dt. No, acceleration a can be written as dv by dt, which is equal to f minus mu v by m naught plus mu into t, or you bring all v terms aside and remaining terms aside. So then dv by f minus mu v is equal to dt by m naught plus mu into t. dv by f minus mu v is equal to dt by m naught plus mu t. Okay. So now integrate them. You integrate between the limits. dv by f minus mu v is equal to dt by m naught plus mu t. Now integrate on both sides. In m naught plus mu into t. Here we are integrating with respect to v. V is the variable. Car is 0. At a time t is equal to 0, velocity of the car is 0. Suppose you are given any velocity, initial velocity, and then at equal to 0, right? After time t seconds, velocity is 0. Now, what is the integration of dv? What is the integration of that value? What is the integration of that value? Tell me. Yeah, ln. So ln natural logarithm of f minus mu v by, as we are integrating with respect to v, the position of v is minus v. So we have to divide with minus v. Minus mu. Limits 0 to v. Here, integral of 1 by mu, m naught plus mu t means ln m naught plus mu t by
Coefficient of t is mu. That's why mu. We had to divide with mu. Time 0 to t. Now we substitute v. Instead of v, substitute v. So ln f minus mu into, instead of v, substitute v only. Okay. Minus, instead of v, you substitute lower limit. Before substituting lower limit, you had to put minus sign. Minus of ln f minus mu into v means 0. That's why ln f only. You will get. Whole by minus mu is there. You write minus mu is equal to this one. Ln, of course, 1 by mu. Of course, here we can cancel 1 by mu of first upper limit ln m naught plus mu into t. Instead of t, you substitute t. Look, whenever before substituting lower limit, you put minus sign. Instead of t, you substitute 0. Then ln m naught. Okay. Therefore, you see this can be written as ln f minus mu v by f we can write now because minus ln f. That's why by f we can write. By already minus mu is there. Is equal to here ln m naught plus mu into t by m naught whole by mu is there. So mu. Here this mu can be cancelled. Okay. Therefore, from that formula, we can write here minus ln of f minus mu n whole by f is equal to ln of m naught plus mu t whole by m naught. We can write whole by m naught. We can write. Okay. Therefore, as minus is there, you reverse them. That implies we can write ln f by f minus mu n, f by mu v is equal to ln of m naught plus mu t by m naught. Because minus is there. Minus means with this multiplication we can write at the power. So minus 1. So ln something whole to power of minus 1 means we can write ln of f by f minus mu v now. So that is equal to ln of this one. On both sides, ln natural logarithm functions are there. Natural logarithm is there. Now you apply anti-logarithm. You apply on both sides. When anti-logarithm you apply, whenever anti-logarithm you apply here, then logs will be cancelled. Natural logarithm will be cancelled. Then what you will get? So therefore, when you apply the anti-logarithms on both sides, logarithms will be cancelled. Then remaining is f by f minus mu v is equal to m naught plus mu t by m naught. From this, we have to obtain the formula for v only. So f minus mu v is equal to do cross multiplication. Then f m naught by m naught plus mu into t. Okay. So f is equal to we have to obtain the formula for v now. So v is you write mu v on right side and you bring this to left side. Then f minus f m naught by m naught plus mu t is equal to mu v into v. Take LCM. When you take LCM, f m naught plus f into mu t minus f m naught cancel. Then remaining is f into mu t by m naught plus mu into t. That is equal to mu into v. Here mu cancel now. Therefore, v is equal to ft by m naught plus mu into t. Ft by m naught plus mu into t. So the velocity of this car at any instant of time is ft by m naught plus mu t. This is the answer. Ft by m naught plus mu t. So that is the answer. Okay. At t is equal to 0 means you put 0, 0 by something 0. That's why velocity is 0. We consider velocity 0 only. Okay. Right. This is the formula for velocity. Next, what is the formula for acceleration? What is the formula for acceleration? Already previously we got acceleration A is equal to something we got. Acceleration A is equal to something we got. We can use that formula. Here you see. Acceleration A is equal to, suppose this is say, this is the acceleration equation 1. Next, this is 2. Already acceleration A is equal to, we got F minus, acceleration A is equal to F minus, we got there, F minus mu into V by m naught plus mu into T, we got no. Okay. Here V should not be there because we have to obtain the answer in terms of only T, mu and F. V should not be there. So instead of V, substitute this value. Therefore, F minus mu into V means Ft by m naught plus mu into T whole by m naught plus mu into T. So when you simplify them, what you will get? Acceleration A is equal to, when you take LCM, F m naught plus F mu T minus F mu T. That means that will be cancelled. Then F m naught by m naught plus mu into T you will get. So this is the acceleration. This is the formula for acceleration. It is equation 3. So acceleration is equal to F m naught by m naught plus mu into T. Sorry, square is there because when you take LCM, you will get F m naught by m naught plus mu T. Already existing in the denominator, already m naught plus mu T is there. That's why you get square. So square you will get. So this is the acceleration in terms of given function, in terms of given values. So acceleration A is equal to F m naught by m naught plus mu T whole square. That is the relation. Okay. M naught means, that is the mass. M naught means mass of the car alone. M naught is the mass of the car alone. Mass of car alone without sand. M naught is the mass of the car alone without sand. Previously I said somewhere else here. M naught is the mass of the car without sand or mass of the car alone. M means mass of the car at any time t. M is equal to mass of the car at any time t means mass of the car plus t seconds లో మరి కొంత మాస్ తో శాండ్ ఫాలో అయింది కదా, ఒక సెకండ్ లో ఫాలో అయ్యే మాస్ ఇది, t సెకండ్స్ లో ఎంత అంటే ఇంటూ mu t కదా. సో దిస్ ఇస్ ది m వాల్యూ. M is the mass of the car at any time t. M naught is the mass of the car alone. I think you could understand now. Coefficient of friction. Suppose if frictional force is also there, then we have to consider the small f there in this direction. Small f here, that is the net force they given. Here the applied force is given means it is the net force on the vehicle in this direction. That friction is also included here. Where even friction is there, then it is pulling in this direction with a force F. That is the net force. At that time, it is the net force. After considering the friction, it is the net force. So whenever this net force acts on them, at that time sand is falling. At that time sand is falling. Okay. Keshav.
Sir.
What is the order?
Sir, up in second row top, sir.
Enna?
In second row top. F by F minus mu V equal to m naught plus mu T. Cross multiply that means
This one, you know?
Sir.
Already logarithms are removed by taking anti-logs on both sides. As log function is here and here, we can remove them directly. F by F minus mu V is equal to m naught plus mu T by mu naught, m naught. I have written the same here. Okay?
But okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay, Nana?
Okay, sir.
Right.
Okay. So here thrust acts on the car. Thrust acts on the car means as the mass of the car increases due to fall of the sand, the thrust acts on the car is opposite to motion. That's why minus sign is represents the thrust acts on the car against their motion. Suppose if mass gradually decreases from the sand due to leakage of the sand from the car, if the mass gradually decreases, in such case dm by dt negative. So minus v into dm by dt negative you substitute, then you will get v into dm by dt. That means thrust acts on the car is positive in that case. That's why thrust supports the applied force. Due to that, the velocity of the car increases with more rate. Suppose sand lorry from the sand lorry, if the sand gradually falls, the rate of speed of the car increases, rate of speed of the vehicle increases, lorry increases, because thrust acts on the lorry, supports the motion of the lorry. That's why acceleration increases. Okay. Velocity of the sand is not there along horizontal direction. Sand is falling vertically downwards. Sand is falling vertically downwards in this case. Okay, in case of lorry, will the velocity of the sand in case of lorry? Okay, in case of lorry, whenever the sand is falling like this, it is not here. You see, initially sand is also moving with the same velocity as that of lorry, but whenever it separates from them, is there any roll of the motion of the sand downwards on this lorry? Sand is falling downwards. There is no roll of velocity of the sand while it is falling downwards on the lorry. That's why same formula here also applicable. Okay, same formula here also applicable. Yeah, 0. Right. Next one. So next another concept related to variable mass system. Fourth one. Those concept is in our material also. Problems are also there in our material. We will discuss those problems one by one. Fourth one. Okay, see your you open your material. All of you open your material. In that material, we'll discuss the problems related to different concepts. We'll discuss the problems so that concepts will be completed and problems will be completed at the same time. Okay. I think page number 66, exercise 3, you see, exercise 3. Exercise 3. All of you stop your video sharings. All of you stop your video sharings. Exercise 3. Okay, one more concept here, conveyor belt. I want to discuss one more concept here, conveyor belt. Conveyor belt means actually, you see, in big industries like cement factory, etc., to transport the cement bags from one place to another place. To transport the cement bags from one place to another place in the same industry, in the same factory. The rope is there, like in airports, to carry the luggage from one place to another place. How belt is there? Belt, that is the conveyor belt. How conveyor belt is there in the airports? Similarly, in industries also, like cement factory, conveyor belts are there. The conveyor belts, in this conveyor belt, the conveyor belt constantly moving with constant velocity, say V, moving with constant velocity. Whenever the luggage, whenever the load fall on them, whenever the load fall on them continuously, whenever the load fall on them continuously at the rate of dm by dt, what is the actually, whenever extra force is not applied according to conservation of linear momentum, because of certain mass of the conveyor belt, the momentum of the conveyor belt is equal to mass of the conveyor belt into speed v. That is the initial momentum. But whenever the mass is falling, whenever the mass is falling on the conveyor belt, mass increases. Whenever mass increases, automatically speed decreases. No, according to law of conservation of linear momentum, if force is not applied, m1 v1 is equal to m2 v2. m1 means mass of the conveyor belt into velocity of the conveyor belt is equal to m2 means mass of the conveyor belt plus some mass fall. Whenever mass increases, automatically speed of the conveyor belt decreases. No, but the speed of the conveyor belt should not be decreased. Speed of the conveyor belt should not be decreased. Speed of the conveyor belt decrease kagodu. Speed of the conveyor belt decrease kagodu. Decrease kaakunda undalante, we have to apply the extra force. So extra force needed to move the conveyor belt with constant velocity. Extra force needed to move conveyor belt with constant speed. With constant speed. F is equal to F extra is equal to what, because of rate of fall of mass on the conveyor belt, whatever the thrust acts on them, that thrust opposes the motion because mass increases. That's why thrust acts on the conveyor belt in backward direction, F thrust. That's why whatever the thrust acts on the conveyor belt, the equivalent force by means of engine, when it is that extra force is applied on the conveyor belt in forward direction equivalent to thrust, then the conveyor belt travel with constant speed. That's why extra force needed, F extra is equal to V into dm by dt. Here velocity speed is constant, only mass increase. That's why V into dm by dt is the extra force needed to move the conveyor belt with constant velocity. Extra power needed is how much? Extra power for this. Extra power needed. P extra. Extra power needed is equal to extra force into constant velocity. Extra force needed into constant velocity. That is equal to V square into dm by dt. You will get, no? It is the extra power needed. Extra power needed. So this is one more concept related to variable mass system. Yeah, I want to say the chain concept. I want to say the chain concept now. Okay. Right. Next. Okay. In exercise 3, in lecture sheet, you see, in lecture sheet, exercise 3, level 2, you see the first problem. In level 2, you see the first problem. Okay, are you open the book? Okay, I will read the problem. Okay, page number I will say. Page number I will say. Page number 51. Page number 51, exercise 3. Exercise 3, page number 51. Problem number 1, you see. Problem number 1. Okay, in that problem number 1, a chain of length capital and mass per unit length rho is filled on a horizontal surface. So on the horizontal surface, the chain is filled like this, just like a hoop. The chain is filled, or chain is kept on the horizontal floor, so that it forms a heap. That means it is just like a sand heap. Okay. Now one end of the chain is held and lifted vertically upwards with constant speed like this. Here you see. So here one end of the chain is held and the chain is lifting upwards with constant velocity like this, with constant velocity v upwards. Constant velocity v upwards. In this case, what is the pulling force applied? What is the pulling force needed as the function of this length of the chain? This length of the chain is say x. Then pulling force applied, P is equal to F upwards. That is equal to question mark. What is the pulling force F in upward direction? Pulling force P is equal to F. That is equal to question mark. What is the pulling force applied? You see here, pulling force applied on the chain is equal to, you see, pulling force is in upward direction. Pulling force is in upward direction. So F in upward direction. At the same time, the weight of the chain acting vertically downwards direction. No? So weight of the chain having length x at certain instant of time, whenever the length of the chain vertically is x, then weight of the chain mg acts vertically downwards direction, where m is the mass of the chain hanging, mass of the chain vertical, which is vertical. Mg acts. So this is equal to, as long as here this is the net at that instant, whenever the length of the chain is x, which is vertically, at that time net force acts on the chain is equal to F minus mg. That is equal to net external force. That is equal to, as long as the chain moving upwards because of this net force, the mass of the chain increases. No, whenever the mass of the chain increases, there is a rate of change in the momentum of the chain. There is a rate of change in the momentum of the chain. Even mass of the chain changes, there is a change in the momentum also, because even velocity is constant. Because of change of mass, there is a rate of change in the momentum. No? Okay, that's why here whenever the chain is moving upwards, then the net external force acts on the chain at the instant whenever the length of the chain is x, which is vertically. At that time, the net external force acts on the chain is equal to rate of change in the momentum of the chain. Rate of change in the momentum of the chain at that instant. So this is equal to d by dt of what about momentum? What is the momentum of the chain? It is small p, it is capital P. That is different. Small p is the momentum. Small p is the linear momentum or simply momentum. Okay. So linear momentum can be written as mass into velocity. No, mass into velocity. Mass into velocity of the chain. So F minus mg is equal to, F minus mg is equal to, here v is constant, you write outside, into d by dt of m. Because as long as the chain is moving upwards with constant speed, the mass of the chain hanging increases. No, mass of the chain vertically increases. Okay, that's why dm by dt is the rate of increase in mass of the chain while pulling upwards. So from this, F is equal to mg plus v into dm by dt. Here we have to find F. F is equal to, what is m? at the instant whenever the length of the vertical chain is x, at that time they asked the force. So F is equal to, in terms of x, they asked the pulling force. That's why F is equal to, M means mass of this part of the chain, mass of that part of the chain. Here, mass per unit length of the chain is given as rho. Mass per unit length of the chain is given as rho. Mass per unit length, that is called linear mass density. Mass per unit length, that is called linear mass density. Linear mass density. Linear mass density is given as rho. In some books, it may be given as lambda, like that. Linear mass density is equal to total mass of the chain by total length. We can write like this also. Of course, here rho we had to use. So F is equal to M means length of the chain is x, mass per unit length is rho. Then what is the mass of the chain? Rho into x, no? Mass of the chain is rho into x, into g is there, into z, plus v into, what about m? What about m here? M means mass of the chain, no? Mass of the chain which is vertical, that is equal to rho into x, we can write, no? Therefore, this is equal to rho xz plus v is constant, rho is constant. Here you write rho outside the differentiation. V into rho into dx by dt is there. What about dx by dt? Whenever the chain is pulling upwards, the length of the chain increases at the rate of dx by dt, because this length is measured as x. Okay, that's why whenever the chain is pulling upwards, then dx by dt is the velocity of the chain upwards. That is v constant. That's why dx by dt can be written as v, no? So therefore, pulling force is equal to rho xz plus v rho into dx by dt means again v. So that implies F is equal to, so this is equal to rho xz plus rho into v square. You take rho common. When you take rho common, then gx plus v square. So this is the pulling force to be applied on the chain to move the chain with a constant speed upwards. Chain constant speed, v speed to pike pull cheyalante pulling force etla apply cheyali. That is the pulling force. If length increases, that means hanging length x increases, the pulling force is to be increased. Then only the chain can move with constant velocity upwards. Okay. Are you getting video properly? Please respond. Okay, right. Siddharth, check your system. Right now. So this is one case. Next. Right. Next, in this chain concept, second one, or it is a. So in this only one more point is given. What is the energy lost during the lifting of the chain? Energy lost during the lifting of the chain. That is the question they asked. Energy lost during the lifting of the chain means work is done against the gravity in upward direction. Because of work done by the applied force, while the chain is pulling upwards, net work done is equal to change in kinetic energy. Net work done is equal to change in kinetic energy, no? Net work done on the chain in lifting upwards is equal to change in kinetic energy. Change in kinetic energy. Okay, now the energy lost during the lifting of the entire chain. Energy lost during lifting of the entire chain we have to find. How we can find? How we can find? While lifting upwards, work is done by the pulling force. Work is done by pulling force minus work is the plus work is done by gravity also. Work is done by gravity also. It is the net work done. It is the net work done. but here there is a change in kinetic energy, because even though speed remains constant, as long as the chain is pulling upwards, the mass of the chain increases. No, due to that there is a change in the kinetic energy, not due to speed. As the mass of the chain increases while it is pulling upwards, even though speed remains constant, as the mass increases while it is pulling upwards, due to that there is a change in kinetic energy, because kinetic energy also depends on the mass. Whenever the mass increases without change in the speed, the kinetic energy increases. Okay, that's why there is a change in kinetic energy. Therefore, change in kinetic energy delta K is equal to work done by applied force plus work done by gravity. Note that work done by applied force means as long as force applied in upward direction, this force applied in upward direction, when length increases, the applied force is to be increased. That means applied force is not constant. Applied force varies with length hanging. That's why work done by applied force means for the small increase in length of the chain in upward direction, work done is equal to పైకి పుల్ చేసినప్పుడు length of the chain increase upwards, applied force also upwards. That's why positive work is done, F into dx. In order to pull the total length of the chain upwards, what is the total work done? So between the limits we have to write x is equal to 0 to x is equal to L. It is the total work done by pulling force on the chain which is kept on the surface to pull totally upwards. Okay, is integral F into dx, x is equal to 0 to x is equal to L, plus what is the work done by gravity? While the chain is pulling upwards, the gravitational force acts on the chain downwards. That's why work is done by gravity is negative, no? So whenever the total length of the chain is pulled upwards, then the total hanging length becomes L, no? Then central mass lies exactly at the midpoint. Then what is the work done in pulling the entire chain vertically from the table? Anybody else? చైన్ మొత్తం టేబుల్ మీద ఉందండి, దాన్ని వెర్టికల్ గా పైకి పుల్ చేస్తాం. వాట్ ఇస్ ద వర్క్ డన్ అంటే సెంట్రల్ మాస్ L/2 హైట్ పైకి రేజ్ అయినట్లే కదా. సో వర్క్ డన్ ఈజ్ ఈక్వల్ టు mg మాస్ ఆఫ్ ది చైన్, మాస్ టోటల్ మాస్ ఆఫ్ ది చైన్ mg into central mass is shifted to a height equal to half of the length, that means L/2, where m mass of chain, mass of total chain. Okay, so here this work done is negative, no, because gravity acts downwards, whereas the central mass is shifted to a height L/2 upwards. That's why negative work is done by gravity. That's why minus you write. Yeah, mg L/2. Right, now here integral 0 to L. What about F? F we got rho into gx plus v square into dx minus mg L/2. So this is equal to rho is constant, you write outside, rho into integral of gx, that means g into x square by 2, plus integral v square into dx means v square into x, limits 0 to L, minus mg into L/2. So this is equal to rho into, first you substitute upper limits, g L square by 2 plus v square into L. When you substitute lower limit, it becomes 0, minus 0, minus mg L/2. Of course, mg means this is equal to rho into g L square by 2 plus v square L, minus m means mass of the total length of the chain. That means mass per unit length is rho. For L length, what is the mass means rho into L into ZL/2. Okay, therefore change in kinetic energy delta K is equal to you multiply with the rho z L square by 2 minus rho z L square by 2. These two cancel. These two cancel. These two cancel. Then remaining is rho L v square. Rho L v square. This is the change in kinetic energy, I think. You see the answer? Half rho L square he got. Answer is, what is the answer you see? What is the answer you see? Which option is given? Answer. No, Royal V square only is the answer. Royal V square only answer. Not option D. No, option D is not correct. Royal V square is the answer. That is correct. This is not correct. So whatever the answer we got, that is correct. You change the option. In a first option, pulling force is given, but change in kinetic energy is given as half rho LV square, not half rho LV square. Rho LV square is the answer. We got rho LV square only now. Rho LV square only the answer, not rho LV square by 2. You change them. Yeah, you change them. You change the first option. Rho LV square is the answer. Okay. Rho LV square is the answer. Okay, right. Next. Next, in the same exercise, second problem you see. In the same exercise, all of you see the second problem. In the same exercise, all of you see the second problem. Know that potential energy is because of work done only. No, that potential energy gained is because of work done by gravity only. Swaran, you see here, when the chain is pulling like this, total work done is given. Total work done is given. Okay, total work done by the applied force minus work done by the, according to work energy theorem, net work done by all the forces is equal to change in kinetic energy. Okay, there is work done by gravity is there, no? Whenever the work done by gravity is negative, the potential energy increases. That work done by gravity is itself is equal to increase in potential energy. Okay, Swarantesh, work done by gravity itself is equal to increase in potential energy. So when you write that term in right side, then that becomes plus potential energy only. Change in kinetic energy plus change in potential energy is equal to work done by external force. Work done by external force is equal to change in kinetic energy plus change in potential energy. Change in potential energy is equal to numerically work done by gravity only. Okay, Swarantesh, you respond. Okay, right. Next, you see the second problem in the same. Second or B. A chain PQ of length L0 is located in a smooth horizontal table such that H length of the chain hangs freely and touches the surface of the smooth table. Okay, the end P is released at certain instant. What is the velocity with which the chain will slip out of the tube? Okay, it is also good problem, different problem. This type of problems are important for advance. Here, there is a smooth tube. Here it is the smooth tube. It is the smooth tube. Here one chain, a chain PQ. A chain PQ. Here initially, this end of the chain is fixed and the chain is passed over the tube, and it is the remaining part of the chain is hanging so that the lower edge of the chain is just touches the surface of the floor. In such a way, the chain is kept initially. The vertical height of the chain is equal to small h. The vertical length of the chain is equal to small h. The total length of the chain is capital. Total length of the chain is capital means whenever the chain is held like this, if this length of the chain is h, then whatever this length is equal to capital L minus h, no, that is equal to x. That is equal to x. So this length of the chain is equal to say x. Okay, now one end of the chain is lifted. Sorry, a chain PQ of length L0. This is L0. The chain PQ of length L0. Yeah, the total length is L0. The total length from P to Q, total length of the chain is L0. Whenever the chain is passed through the tube and one end is fixed here and the remaining chain is hanging, then H length is hanging and remaining length is L0 minus H, that is in the tube. So length of the chain in the tube is equal to X. Length of the chain in the tube is equal to X. Okay, now whenever this end of the chain is released, because of this weight of the hanging part, the chain slides because it is a smooth tube. That's why the chain slides. And at the instant whenever this end of the chain leaves the tube, at that time they asked velocity of the chain. They asked velocity of the chain. They asked. Okay, now total length of the chain PQ is given as L0. PQ is given as L0. Here, as long as you see, because of weight of this hanging part, always the length of the vertical chain is equal to H only. That's why weight of the hanging part remains constant. With that weight of the hanging part, this chain pulls the chain in the tube. As long as the chain comes down, the mass of the chain inside the tube gradually decreases. No, the mass of the chain inside the tube gradually decreases. Okay, whenever mass of the chain decreases and weight of the hanging part remains constant, then what is the net force acts on the chain at any instant of time? Net force acts on the chain at any instant of time. Suppose x is equal to 0. At x is equal to 0, total mass is there. Whenever this length is equal to x, this length of the chain is falling like this, falls. Then the remaining length is equal to how much? Remaining length is equal to this one. Remaining length of the chain is equal to L0 minus H minus X. No, okay, you imagine like this. How we can do this one? Suppose at any instant of time, this is a origin. At any instant of time, the length of chain is say x. The length of the chain is equal to say x. As the chain is falling like this, at any instant of time, length of the chain in the table, in this tube, that is equal to say x. Because as long as the chain is coming like this, then the length of the chain inside the tube is say x. At that instant, what is the acceleration with which chain falls? Tell me. The hanging part, the weight of this hanging part, only net force acts on this part of the chain and this part of the chain. Avuna? Because of this hanging part of the weight of the hanging part of the chain only, force acts on this length of the chain, and due to that it comes down with certain acceleration. Ikkada weight of this hanging part is there, no? That weight of the hanging part pulls this part of the chain and this part of the chain in this direction. So acceleration of the chain, acceleration of chain when x length is inside the tube, x length is inside the tube, acceleration of the chain when x length of the chain is inside the tube, it's only whenever the chain is released, the chain slides down, and whenever the length of the chain in the tube is x, at the time, what is the force acts on this part of the chain and this part of the chain totally? Because of this weight of this chain, the entire chain falls. You see, whenever the chain falling like this, with what acceleration the chain falls, with the same acceleration this chain also moves. That's why, because of this weight of the hanging part, this total length of the chain is sliding. So what is that acceleration? Acceleration A is equal to force acts on this length of the chain is equal to weight of the hanging part only. Are you followed this point or not? First you tell me. ఈ హ్యాంగింగ్ పార్ట్ యొక్క వెయిట్ వల్ల మాత్రమే ఈ మొత్తం చైన్ ఇక్కడి నుంచి ఇక్కడ వరకు ఉన్న చైన్ మూవ్ అవుతుంది. దీని యొక్క వెయిట్ వల్ల మూవ్ కాదు. బికాస్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ వెయిట్, దట్ వెయిట్ యాక్ట్స్ vertically downwards direction. In this direction there is no motion, but because of weight of this hanging part will comes down when you release, and this part is also pulled in this direction. That's why, because of weight of this hanging part only, the entire chain slides down with acceleration A. Are you followed this point? What, Baladitya, what is your doubts? Baladitya, what is your doubts? Baladitya, because writing that point only important here. Remaining we can do by integrating or differentiating, etc. We can do. Baladitya, are you followed this one or not? This point L0 minus H also, L0 minus H. No. Okay, at any instant of time, okay, this length is equal to L minus, okay, right. Okay, this remaining length is equal to L0 minus H. But while sliding, at any instant of time, while sliding, some part falls on the floor. But remaining length of the chain in the tube is equal to say X. Remaining length of the chain in the tube is equal to X, and this length is H. So at the instant whenever this end of the chain lies here, at the time the weight of this hanging part pulls this entire chain from this end to this end, no? This part, no? Are you followed now, Aditya? Balatya, now are you followed? Okay, right. Now acceleration is equal to weight of this hanging part. Weight of this hanging part acts as the external force acts on this part of the chain. That's why weight of the hanging part means linear mass density is given as rho. I think here also linear mass density, that is not given. Linear mass density is not given. You imagine linear mass density as lambda. Let linear mass density B lambda. Linear mass density is equal to lambda. Let linear mass density of the chain be lambda. Okay, then what is the weight of the hanging part? Mass per unit length is lambda, and for this much length, mass is lambda into h. Then into z, that is the weight of the hanging part. Because of this weight of hanging part, this total length of the chain is moving with acceleration a at that instant. That's why that is equal to total mass of this chain. Total mass of the chain means length of this total chain is equal to h plus x. So lambda into h plus x. This is the mass of the chain moving because of this gravitational force acts on the entire chain. Are you followed this formula now? A is equal to lambda hz by lambda of h plus x. Are you followed this one or not? You tell me. That point is important. Are you followed this one or not? H plus x is how? You see, because of this weight of this part, this part coming down and this part is also pulled in this direction. That's why because of weight of this hanging part, this total length of the chain will move and fall on the ground. Okay, Varshit Reddy. Right. Now acceleration of this part of the chain at that instant, whenever this length of the chain in the tube is x, is equal to this one. This acceleration A can be written as v into dv by dx now, because we have to find velocity of the chain whenever the last end leaves the tube. That is the case. That's why we have to obtain the relation between velocity and x. So A can be written as v into dv by dx. Of course, dv by dt we can write. We can write v into dv by dx also. That is equal to lambda hz by. Of course, here lambda cancel now. Then hz by h plus x. Okay. Now you write all v. You keep all v terms aside, x terms aside. V into dv is equal to hz by h plus x into dx. You write. Okay. Now integrate on both sides. Limits. What are the limits? That is important. Initially, whenever this x, whenever this end is up to this, at the time the chain is released. That's why at that instant chain is not having any velocity when x is equal to, when this end of the chain is here, at the time the chain is released. So at that time the x value is equal to L0 minus h, no? So when the length of the chain x is equal to L0 minus h, at that time the chain is not having any velocity. But whenever the length of the chain is x, what is the velocity? Means you put x is here x and it is v. Then you will get v in terms of x. But here the question is, what is the velocity of the end P is released at certain instant? What is the velocity with which the chain will slip out of the tube? So with what velocity the chain leaves the tube or slip out of the tube? That means at the instant whenever this end of the chain comes to this position while sliding down, at that time whenever the last this end of the chain leaves the tube, at that time what is the velocity they asked? Whenever this end comes to this position, x becomes 0. That's why whenever x becomes 0, what is the velocity? That is the question they asked. So when last end P leaves the tube at O, velocity of chain, velocity of hanging chain, v is equal to question mark. We had to find v. Now from this you see integral v dv means we can write v square by 2 limits 0 to v is equal to, here h is constant, you write, you keep aside. Integral 1 by h plus x dx means ln h plus x we can write. By coefficient of x is 1 only. That's why by 1 you need not write. Limits L0 minus h, here it is 0. So here even you substitute the limits, you will get v square by 2 only. That is equal to g into h of, first upper limit you substitute. Instead of x you substitute 0. Then you will get ln h minus, when you substitute lower limit you put minus sign, minus ln of h plus x means L0 minus h. Okay. Here of course minus h plus h cancel. So v square by 2 is equal to gh of ln sorry, ln h by L naught we can write now. Therefore, v is equal to you will get ln v is equal to root of 2gh into ln h by L naught you will get no, but answer is given L naught by h. Answer is given L naught by h. Somewhere we committed mistake in symbol, I think. Here we see, whenever the chain is moving like this, x value decreases, no? Whenever the chain is moving like this, x value decreases. That's why here dx is the decrease in length. Dx is the decrease in length we have to write. Yeah, dx is negative. Very good. Here dx is negative. Here dx is the decrease in length. Since length decreases as long as the chain falls like this, this length decreases. That's why negative we had to substitute. So minus we have to write. So minus. So here only a can be written as minus dv by dx. Minus you write. Then minus. Here you write minus here. Minus outside you write directly. So minus. Okay. So minus. So this is equal to gh of ln L naught by h we can write now. By writing this minus inside the bracket, we can write ln L naught by h. Therefore, v is equal to root of 2gh into ln L naught by h. L naught by h. Okay. This is the formula. So velocity at the instant whenever the last end of the chain leaves the tube, at that time velocity. At that time velocity, this one. Suppose at the instant whenever the length of the chain in the tube is x, what is the velocity of the chain? In such case, you write here L naught minus h2 x only, not 0. X is not equal to 0, x only, because whenever the length of the chain is x in the tube, at that time they ask, that's why you write x only. Then you simplify them, you will get v value in terms of x. Okay. Yeah. Dx is negative. Yeah, I substituted dx negative only. Minus I have taken now, since dx is negative because length decreases. Length of chain decreases in tube. Length of chain decreases in tube. Okay. That is the answer. Next one you see, third one. Shall I erase this one? Shall I erase this one? You practice these problems so that you do your own, so that you can have clarity again. Seems to be very simple, but you have to practice them. So next, C. C means in our material problem number 3. In our material problem number 3. Yeah, problem number 3 in our material. Here we see, determine the force P required to give the open link chain of length L, total length L, a constant velocity dy by dt. The chain has a mass rho per unit length. Neglect the small size and mass of the pulley and any friction in the pulley. Okay. This is the frictionless pulley. One chain is passed over the frictionless pulley like this. Okay, here at first the chain is kept in the form of a heap over the horizontal surface, and one end of the chain is held and it is passed over the pulley, and at the other end, what is the pulling force to be required? Pulling force F downwards, so that it move with constant speed downwards. It move with constant speed downwards. What is the force required? That is the case. Determine the force P required. Of course, it is equal to P, pulling force. So determine the pulling force P required to give the open link chain of total length of the chain is capital L. Total length of the chain is capital L. Total length means this length plus this length. Total length. This is equal to H. This is equal to Y. This length is equal to, of course, the length of the chain or the pulley can be ignored because it is a small frictionless pulley. So this length is equal to Y. That is given in the diagram only. Okay. Mass per unit length of the chain. Here, whenever the chain is pulling like this, then length of the chain hanging gradually increase. The rate of increase in length of the chain hanging on right side, dy by dt, that is equal to speed of the chain, the speed of the chain with which it is moving like this. Next, the mass per unit length, that means linear mass density. Mass per unit length of the chain is given. Mass per unit length of the chain is equal to rho, that is given. Of course, instead of lambda, it is given rho symbol. Okay, you tell me, you see the pulling force is applied in this direction. Weight of this part, say W1 acts downwards direction. Weight of this part, hanging part, acts in this direction. Weight of this hanging part W1 acts in this direction. Weight of this hanging part acts in this direction, and pulling force in this direction. Pulling force F in this direction. Okay. So as the chain coming down like this, definitely the net force is equal to F plus W1 minus W2. F plus W1 minus W2, isn't it? F plus W1 minus W2 is the pulling force now. ఇక్కడ చూడండి, ఈ చైన్ మనం ఇటువైపు పుల్ చేస్తున్నాం కాబట్టి పుల్లింగ్ ఫోర్స్ ఇటువైపు ఉంది. వెయిట్ ఆఫ్ ది హ్యాంగింగ్ పార్ట్ డౌన్వర్డ్స్ డైరెక్షన్ లో పనిచేస్తుంది కాబట్టి టోటల్ ఫోర్స్ యాక్ట్స్ ఆన్ ది చైన్ ఇన్ దిస్ డైరెక్షన్ ఈజ్ ఈక్వల్ టు F plus W1. At the same time, the weight of this hanging part try to pull the chain upward direction. That means opposite to this force, this weight acts in the form of tension in the chain. That's why net force acts on the chain is equal to applied pulling force plus W1 minus W2. At such instant of time, whenever the length of the chain hanging on right side of the pulley is Y, at that time net force acts on this chain in this direction. As the chain is moving like this, at that time net force acts on the chain is equal to F plus W1 minus W2. Are you clarified this one? Are you understood? Are you getting my point now? Are you getting my point? Okay, this is equal to rate of change in the momentum dp by dt, because here as long as of course we have to write mass into acceleration we have to write, but as long as the chain coming down, the speed is constant but mass gradually increase in this direction. That means W1 varies. Even W1 varies, this weight of the hanging part does not change because always the length of the chain here is equal to H only. That's why W2 is constant, but as long as the chain coming down, as this length of the chain increases, W1 increases. That's why it is variable. Okay, but speed of the chain remains constant. That's why this rate of change in momentum dp by dt can be written as d by dt of mass into velocity. Okay, F plus W1. What is W1? Weight of this hanging part at the instant when length of the chain is y is rho is the linear mass density into y gives mass of this part into z weight of this part minus W2 means weight of this hanging part rho into length of the hanging part in this direction is equal to from the ground up to this weight of the hanging part is equal to h only. This mass can be ignored because it is small pulley. This length can be ignored. Rho z, rho h is the mass of the hanging part in this direction into z is the weight is equal to here v is constant dm by dt. As long as the chain is coming down, the mass of this hanging part increases at that rate. So F plus rho zy minus rho hz is equal to v into dm by dt means d by dt of how we can write mass. Mass can be written as rho into length of the hanging part is y, no? That's why mass of the hanging part is rho into y. So therefore, F plus rho zy minus rho hz is equal to v into rho is constant, you write outside, into dy by dt. What is dy by dt? Dy by dt is equal to v, no? That's why here you write v. So v rho into v. Therefore, F is equal to rho hg minus rho zy plus already rho v square is there. Therefore, pulling force at the instant whenever the length of the hanging part on right side of the pulley is y is equal to this one. So therefore, you see answer rho v square plus, okay, F is equal to rho v square plus, in these two terms we can take rho z common, then h minus y. So rho v square plus rho z into h minus y. Yeah, option 1 is correct. Option 1 is correct. Okay. Option 1 is correct. Next.